In today's video, we are going to be looking deeper into the Flamingo.finance project. It's been on the mainnet live Neo for, let's call it, I don't know, 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks, something like that. I've lost count. We're about to enter over the next week or two the next stage, which I feel is the most important stage of this entire project, and that is the minting, creating out of thin air, if you want to call it, synthetic stablecoins. And that stablecoin is going to be little f for Flamingo, USD. Now, we've got the Neo Global Development running this project right now, and it's going to, over time, switch to a decentralized autonomous organization. So let's just go over the key features of Flamingo.finance's project, where it stands today, what it looks like, and go from there. Okay, so the first thing we had is this wrapper, we'll call it module. What this wrapper allowed you to do was essentially take your cross-blockchain assets like Bitcoin, ETH, ONT, anything on the Cosmos SDK, and essentially put those into Flamingo Finance in a Neo wrapped version. Now, you may wonder, why do I need to wrap my Neo token if it's already on the Neo blockchain? And that's because of the format the token standard's in. So we need to turn this into a NEP5 token, which think like ERC20. It's just the tokenized standard. So since Neo is UTXO based, users need to wrap Neo to NEP5 first. ONT-D is the wrap version of Wing Finance. Okay, so we come in here and we wrap our cross-blockchain assets. That's all great and dandy, but as you can see, we'll go to Flamingo real quick. So you can see 18% on this Uni liquidity pool token. I mean, the rest is not great. So you can get better on a stablecoin pool. So, these were essentially a way for the bootstrap. This was a fair launch product, right? So there were no FLM distributed before this. That was the only way to get it. So a couple days later, that phase ended, and then they allowed the vault. The vault was where you could stake these liquidity pool tokens, which you earn in the swap. Now, what is the swap? Well, the swap is the auto market maker that provides liquidity to the wrapped assets. And so what you essentially are going to do is no different than the X times Y K equals K that Uniswap uses. You come in here and you put two equally valued pair of tokens at NEP5 at that time. In return, you're going to get this LP, liquidity pool token, and 100% of the trading fees in that pair on Flamingo Finance are going towards the liquidity pool token providers. If you want to get your NEP5 tokens back, you have to burn your liquidity pool tokens. Keep in mind, when you put your liquidity pool tokens in there, you're going to lock in the rate between the two. And we'll get into that more and how that generates impermanent loss, which can hurt your returns. Once you've staked your assets into the liquidity pool, you can turn around and go back to this vault and stake these. So now you're earning a yield in the form of FLM, which is a secondary incentive to provide liquidity and further help mitigate the impermanent loss that you will generate from holding these two divergent tokens. The more the two tokens diverge, the more your impermanent loss will be. So think of a stablecoin pair, USDT to USDC, relatively limited impermanent loss. Something like FLM relative to Neo, which you can see is why is the highest interest rate, is definitely going to have the highest impermanent loss, as FLM is going through price discovery. So we need to know what we're getting into. Okay, so this is all great, but the next phase, which is coming up, and I think is really where we're going to see what this project is capable of, is the minting of the FUSD that I was talking about. So in addition to generating the FLM that we're already generating, we'll be able to generate these synthetic FUSD stablecoins, which are soft pegged to $1. Now, each of these will be allowed to generate a certain number of FUSD tokens based on the liquidity pool that you have backing them. The more risky the liquidity pool token, aka FLM Neo, is the most risky, the lower collateralization you'll be able to have, and the less FUSD you'll be able to mint for each given dollar value at that time. That's as indicated by the C ratio, collateralization ratio. What's cool about this Flamingo.finance liquidation process with the C ratio is that unlike Maker, they give you a 3-day leniency period, tentative. I'm not sure exactly what that means. More clarification to come. But they give you a 3-day period. So if you do come under collateralization and are subject to liquidation, you have an opportunity to prevent you from getting liquidated and avoiding that 10% liquidation fee. Once you have your FUSD, if you want to get your underlying collateral back, let's say you want to get out of FLM Neo and both, whatever, what you do is then you burn your FUSD to unlock your underlying assets. So you'll still have earned the FLM in the meantime on top of that, and then you'll be able to retrieve from the liquidity pool. Finally, the last thing that's going to launch, and this will be later this year, is the Perp and the DAO, right? The Perp is this auto market maker contract, but it's going to be for any underlying asset. So it's similar to the swap, and they use the constant product market maker model, but it's going to also allow for leverage. And the way that they do this is by staking these FUSD synthetic tokens as margins and receiving FLM. We'll see how this plays out more, and I don't want to start going into this too much before the project itself comes out in more details. Either way, this Flamingo.finance project is exciting. The price discovery has tempered down over the last week or two. We're still hanging around high 25 to 30 cents, at least over the last week. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you find these videos helpful, it's super helpful to us and inspires us to continue to make more videos. If you hit that like or subscribe, and if you leave a comment below, we will respond. This isn't a huge channel yet, so if there's other things that you guys are interested in, just let us know, and we are happy to make content that's catered towards your interests. Thanks again for checking out DeFi Daily. We'll be back with another video soon. Till then.